he's got power, he's got skill, he's got speed. So respect to Usyk. Daniel Dubois is a great competitor, but he just showed why he's one of the greatest of all time.
And your name's been linked with some heavyweight names. Would you fancy a fight with?
Oh yeah, I want the smoke. I love a challenge. I think I can take more punches than that.
Well, we got an exclusive there. Jake Paul wants Alexander Usyk. We'd love to see it. Thank you, Jake.
Hey, let's run it. MMA, boxing, whatever he wants.
Massive shout out to Alexander Usyk. Did a fantastic performance tonight over Daniel Dubois, a good young game lad who come for a good tear up. So congratulations to both men. But Alexander Usyk knows there's only one man who can beat him. I've done it twice before and the world knows it. I've been fucked good and proper without any Vaseline on, and I've took it like a man. And here's me, not fucking around at some boxing match. I'm out on the fucking road running, but I'm running tonight. I come home, I done my job, and I got myself back, and I am the man. I'm the fucking Spartan, and no matter what anyone wants to say, I fucking won them fights. Guaranteed 100%. There's only one man. GK all day, every day. You look.
Pro boxing fans, Jose Parker, we've just seen Alexander Usyk with a destructive performance against Daniel Dubois. Just give me your thoughts on that one.
It was a competitive fight in the beginning, and Daniel did land some good shots, and Usyk did feel those shots, but ultimately in the end he broke him down, and Usyk showed a lot more, I think, bad intentions in the shots he was throwing.
I was going to ask you, do you expect him to be that aggressive? The counters?
I know that, listen, Daniel was going to be aggressive, so what did Usyk have to do? He was moving, but when he found the time to be aggressive, he took and maximised on those opportunities.
For you, obviously you were there for a reason. I'm sure you want to get your hands on Alexander Usyk because you want to be in the biggest fights.
Yes, it was great to see him win and become two-time unified undisputed champion of the world. And I just waited for my opportunity. I'm going to wait for my opportunity and see if he does give it to me, and hopefully we can get in the ring and share the ring together, and have a...
Man, I'm here for the vibes. I'm here for the fight. Usyk's one of my favorite fighters, him or David Benavidez. So here to enjoy and just have some fun tonight here in Wembley.
Come on, put some meat on the bones of you and Anthony Joshua. Is it happening or not?
It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. I want it to happen here. All the odds stacked against me. I believe that I will beat him and shock the world and create one of the biggest upsets in boxing history.
Tyson Fury was saying he put $1 million on you beating Anthony Joshua.
I seen that. He's backing me. He's a smart lad.
But how do you love the atmosphere here? Wembley's brilliant. We'd love to see you fight here, by the way.
Man, I love it. Like the UK fans really love boxing even more than American fans. So I'm going around the pubs, talking to all the people, asking them about how they think about the fight. I just love the atmosphere. I love to be here, and this is always history when you're at Wembley.
Mate, can you do us a favour? Can you stop beating us up?
No.
Phone for Boxing News, delighted to be joined by Lennox Lewis. Lennox, thanks again for your time this week. We've just seen Alexander Usyk produce a stunning 5th round stoppage victory over Daniel Dubois in the rematch. Give us your thoughts.
Yeah, listen, he was unbelievable. He was on form today. He boxed great. He did the right things. He was counter-punching and he was moving well and he wasn't getting caught. And he started off with a jab, so what can you say?
I spoke to Alexander's cutman, Russ Amber, and he says he felt Daniel Dubois started a bit too fast, a bit too reckless. Is it a sort of a case of you're almost damned if you do, damned if you don't? They say you got to stick him on him, but then if you stick him on him too much, you leave the gaps?
Yeah, it's that kind of situation. It's a control violence, basically, and control movement, making sure that you don't overcommit. And, you got to use speed more than power. So in this fight, it should have been more speed than more power.
And Daniel's obviously very disappointed. He's in the dressing room at the moment, and if he's going to come back, he's got to learn from it. He's only 27 years of age. Look back at, Frank Bruno, for example. 3 times he fought for the world title, and he got it in the fourth attempt. And Daniel You know, he's won a world title, so hopefully he will come back and learn from it. But the bottom line is, it's Mr. Usyk's night, and he showed what he was all about. I mean, he is a special boxer.
Before the final bell rang, boxing experts had already weighed in with strong opinions on how the Usyk versus Dubois showdown would unfold. From questions about experience and skill to debates over power and pressure, predictions came in from all angles. Now that the fight has happened, it's time to look back at what the experts expected. Carl Frosch gave a clear verdict before the fight. He believed Usyk would be too sharp, too experienced, and too skilled for Dubois to handle. Frosch focused on Usyk's speed, reflexes, and ability to avoid clean shots, pointing out how hard it would be for Dubois to land anything meaningful.
Personally think that Alexander Usyk, I said it earlier and you might have said, what's he on about? He doesn't get hit with shots that he doesn't see coming. It's the shots that you don't see coming that do the damage. And Usyk is that good. He's got good reflexes. He's got fast hand-to-eye coordination, fast on his feet. When a shot comes, even if an unexpected shot comes, if a left hook follows a right hand from an awkward angle, it'll...
Frosch summed it up by saying he expected Usyk to be too much for Dubois and even predicted a possible stoppage. He didn't seem to hesitate in his final call.
That's my thoughts on the Usyk-Dubois fight this weekend. It's going to be a good one. I think Usyk's going to be too much for him. If you've not seen my interview with Alexander Usyk, I did a nice, short, sweet 12 rounds with Usyk.
After Carl Froch laid out his confident pick for Usyk, Duke McKenzie followed with a similarly strong prediction. Though he acknowledged Dubois' power and improved mindset, he ultimately backed Usyk. McKenzie pointed to Usyk's speed, ring IQ, and ability to adapt as key reasons why he felt Dubois couldn't outbox or outlast him over 12 rounds.
I mean, listen, you know what? This is heavyweight boxing, right? And of course he's in with a shout because he's a murderous puncher, Daniel Dubois. Yeah, a lot's been made of his newfound confidence and the way that he carries himself and the way that he actually projects himself in public now, which will tell you that he's got a different sort of state of mind. You know, I'm only going to echo what I've said previously. If Daniel Dubois was fighting anybody else, I'd back him to win, 100%. But in Alexander Usyk, you know, because when I watch Usyk fight, and I've studied him, you know, he's a cruiserweight coming up to the heavyweight division, but he's carried his cruiserweight speed. Nothing's changed with Usyk. He does the same things at cruiserweight, and now he's doing the same thing in the heavyweight division. So Daniel Dubois, for me, to win this fight, he's got to make it into an absolute bloodbath.
Duke believed Dubois had only one real shot, turned the fight into a war, but even then, he wasn't convinced that would work. He questioned whether Dubois had the mental strength to push through a full high-level championship fight against someone as tricky and seasoned as Usyk.
Dubois has, let's say, the mental sort of fortitude to carry him for 12 rounds. 12 rounds is a long time when you're fighting somebody like Usyk. You know, Usyk reminds me in some ways, with his tactical approach, you know, the feints that he showed you, like he'll show you a right hand, hit you with a left uppercut. He'll show you a right hook, he'll hit you with a jab. He feints, he twitches. There's a lot of movement going on from Daniel Dubois. And if you ask any of the guys that Usyk's beaten, it's 7 times he's come over here. We should change his name to the Magnificent Seven, because he's been over here 7 times. He's left the Ukraine, and 7 times he's gone home a winner. And that's not luck. It's not luck. That's a sign of class. And I'm a big fan of Alexander Usyk. I'm a big fan of Daniel Dubois. He's won me over because his attitude is right where it should be. The fact that he's trying to convince himself even now that he can win the fight, speaking from experience.
Despite being impressed with Dubois' attitude and physical strength, Duke emphasized that Usyk's experience, southpaw stance, and unbeaten record gave him the upper hand. He didn't see any area where Dubois held a clear advantage going into the fight.
I don't think he has an advantage. I don't think Daniel Dubois has an advantage over Usyk. Usyk will be the one with the advantage. The 2 main advantages that Usyk will have will be obviously being the southpaw that he is, the slick southpaw. That's an advantage over any orthodox fighter. And obviously his engine that he has, there's 3 advantages he has. He's got a great engine, he's a southpaw, and he has the victory over Dubois. I don't think Dubois got an advantage over Usyk because he's lost to him legitimately in their first meeting, which is not going to give him an advantage. I really believe that Daniel Dubois is physically stronger than Usyk because he's a natural heavyweight. He's got an excellent jab, which I'm sure they'll apply. I'm sure you'll agree with that. Where, Dubois is obviously going to be targeting the body because he may feel that Usyk is maybe susceptible to a body shot. Can't see it.
Mackenzie closed his prediction by saying he expected Usyk not just to win, but to look even better than before. He described Usyk as a modern-day great who could retire undefeated, and believed this rematch would only highlight how far ahead he truly is.
It's easy, because of his work ethic and the way that he carries himself, both inside and outside of the ring. If he didn't live the life that he lives, away from boxing, then I'd say there are miles on his clock. I'd say he was slipping. You could see the chinks in his armour. But everybody speaks of Alexander Usyk in the highest regard, both in the ring and outside of the ring, and how he conducts himself as a world champion.
Absolutely. Derek Chisora brought a completely different energy, shaped by grit and experience, especially after facing Usyk himself. He didn't sugarcoat anything. To him, beating Usyk meant being mentally unshakable, almost disturbed. It wasn't just about boxing skill, but about mindset. Usyk had lived through real-life war, slept through missile strikes, and still showed up fearless.
What I'm saying is this, to beat Alexander Usyk, you have to be mentally disturbed in your head. Yeah?
You have to be mentally disturbed?
Yeah, because you have to understand.
Or to take the fight in the first place?
Yeah, because when I saw him a couple of months ago, I had a coffee with him, we were just chatting. The guy lives in Ukraine.
Yep.
Yeah. He goes, before I came on the plane, I was sleeping in my house, and then there was missiles going over my house, and I didn't want to go in the bunker. I was like, I'll just go to sleep.
Chisora believed Dubois needed to rely on his jab, target the body, and keep pushing forward with pressure. But that was just part of it. The other part was survival. If Dubois wasn't prepared physically and mentally, Usyk's constant movement and high output would wear him down quickly.
What did you make of the first fight with Daniel Dubois and Usyk? And what do you think that Daniel has to do differently?
Daniel has to use his jab. The jab, and then slow Usyk down, body. Hit him to the body and stuff like that. But at the same time, Usyk has been watching this video, the last fight, 24/7.
But you've been in the ring, you've shared the ring with Alexander Usyk, so you know his strengths, you know his weaknesses. What do you think that Daniel has to do? Do you think he has to go out there and take the fight to him early, take control?
He has to take the fight to him, and he has to survive. Yeah, because if you're not fit, you can't survive.
Because of the way he makes you work.
Yeah.
When it came to Usyk's power, Chisora didn't rate it as heavy. Instead, he felt Usyk made you fear getting hit. He disguised his punches, created strange angles, and kept opponents working even without throwing. It wasn't one big shot, it was the steady buildup that broke you.
How in all the fighters that you've been in with, and you've been with most of them, been with AJ you haven't been in with, but how hard's he hit?
How hard does he hit? He don't hit that hard. Yeah, but he makes you be afraid of him hitting you because you don't want him to knock you out.
It's more combination punching and not knowing where that shot comes from. The shots that actually, the shots that do the damage are the ones you don't see.
Chisora didn't name a clear winner, but his deep respect for Usyk was obvious. In his eyes, if Dubois wanted to win, he had to bring something totally different. Because if he didn't, Usyk would just do what he always did, adjust, take control, and come out on top. Tony Bellew didn't agree with the talk that Usyk was past his prime. He had heard similar claims before about Usyk being too old or slowing down, but he never saw them come true. In his view, Usyk had already dealt with every style and size, so he didn't think Dubois brought anything new. He did credit Dubois for being at his best, confident after big wins, but believed Usyk couldn't be bullied or intimidated, which is where Dubois would struggle.
Well, Jim, if I'm being totally honest, when it comes to Alexander Usyk being past his best, or as he bitten off more than he can chew. This guy's faced every style. This guy's faced every size you can possibly imagine. There's not a style or a size he hasn't faced, really, within his division and out of his division. So I don't see Daniel Dubois posing him any new problems. What I do see is this is the best version of Daniel Dubois that he's faced. So Daniel Dubois is in the form of his career. He's coming after the best victories of his career. The tide he's on at the moment is very high. You know, the victories over Jarrell Miller, over Philip Hergovich and over Anthony Joshua, the resounding victories are massive and huge, you know, things that he can achieve. But it's a completely different face.
When asked what kept Usyk going, Tony said it wasn't money. Usyk had been secure for a long time. He fought for pride, for his country, and for legacy. Tony believed Usyk was too focused to stay in a fight if something felt wrong in training. He wasn't worried about the split with Usyk's manager, calling it just part of boxing. While he acknowledged Dubois had a puncher's chance early on, he felt that once things got difficult, Usyk would take control just like he had in the past.
Thinking that Alexander Usyk is driven by money is wrong, because this guy has been financially secure since post my fight, to be being totally honest. You know, he's earned an absolute fortune. He fights AJ, he fights Derek Chisora, he beats us all and beats us all up on pride. He fights for his country. You know, what his country's gone through is horrific, and no one would possibly understand what he's fighting through, but he is. He fights for so much more than money. He fights for legacy. And that's the biggest thing that drives Alexander Usyk, is legacy. And I just think when he gets in the ring with Daniel Dubois, he doesn't have to be there. So everyone hoping and praying that he's going to get old overnight. The fighter is the first to know, because things just aren't going right in camp. And he would happily pull the plug without a shadow of a doubt. And I've heard the whistle.
Tony described Dubois as a strong, forward-moving fighter who was dangerous when confident. But the moment things turned against him, that confidence would fade. Tony believed Usyk would slowly chip away at him again. He expected a tougher fight this time, and even said Usyk might have to get up from a knockdown, but still saw him taking over after round 6 and stopping Dubois between rounds 8 and 12.
No, I think this might be the first time Alexander Usyk's ever had to climb off the floor. Off a headshot. I think he may have to climb off the floor, and I think he rides out a storm, but I think he gets the job done, and I think he stops him probably between round 8 and 12. But I do see Daniel Dubois at the most confident he's ever been. I do think he's a seriously dangerous fighter, but I think that confidence will be taken after round 6, and then he will be a target from rounds 6 to 9, and then if he lasts out to 12, fair play to him, but I don't think he will. It'll be too much.
Adam Catterall leaned toward Usyk, but admitted his confidence had started to fade. He noticed growing belief in Dubois from fans and analysts. According to him, Dubois looked like a different fighter, stronger mentally and riding real momentum after recent wins. Adam believed that if Dubois landed something big early, it could change everything. That early threat made the fight feel more balanced than their first meeting.
But my boxing brain, my radar says that Dubois, if he can make inroads in the first 4 or 5 rounds, hey, it's 50 to 1, 40 to 1 to stop Usyk in the first 3, 4, 5 rounds, which is an extraordinary figure, because he could do it.
Yeah,
he could. That's where he's going to be at his most dangerous, in my view.
He's a much more dangerous threat this time around than he was the last time around.
No question.
And that is because I don't know what happened in the aftermath of the Usyk first fight, but whatever happened, whatever was said to him, whatever words he took on from his team, whether it be Don, his dad, or whoever it may be, or maybe even himself, slowly but surely, with the performances that he's put in off the back of that, he has now started to really believe that he is the real deal. And that has, for me, cemented.
Gareth A. Davies gave a deeper look at Dubois' growth. He talked about how Dubois once appeared unsure and struggled to speak publicly, but now carried himself with belief and maturity. Gareth credited trainer Don Charles for guiding him and said Dubois had shown he could handle the spotlight, especially on big stages like Wembley.
Chipped a lot by the right hand against Philip Hergovich in his next fight, and he seemed to relish it. We've talked about these things so many times. And then he's had momentum on his side. He doesn't fear anyone. He's got a very it's almost like he's got a blinkered approach to life.
Yeah.
And when those blinkers are focused in the right direction, and I think Don Charles is very good for that, and I think Don Charles gets on with Daniel Dubois' dad Stan. I mean, Stan's revealing to me, it was 2 hours of press-ups when he was a 10-year-old. Stan revealed to me when I went up to that training camp, one day Daniel did 10 hours of press-ups when he was 11. Sorry, 5 hours of press-ups when he was 10.
Wow.
5 hours. And he said, I wouldn't let him eat and I wouldn't let him drink. And then I made him run around the housing estate.
Even with all that progress, Gareth still wasn't convinced Dubois would win. He believed Usyk's skill, footwork, and fight IQ would take over if Dubois didn't make a strong impact early. For Gareth, the first 5 or 6 rounds were crucial. If Usyk made it through them, he felt the champion would likely outbox Dubois the rest of the way.
Daniel has been driven and honed to be a boxer, but I don't think he believed in himself until that time you're talking about.
Yeah.
Where he had the rite of passage. He's gone from boy to man. I mean, in an extraordinary way. I mean, you say boy to man.
Yeah.
He's gone from man to man.
Yeah.
From a young man to an older man to a maturer man. And I think his prime, I mean, if he does wipe out Usyk or beats him up or stops him or even... It is possible for him to win on points, even though everyone thinks that's impossible.
Well, if there's multiple knockdowns, maybe,
and he can't get rid of Usyk. He will grow so much from this. He will have to fight Parker and Ajit Kabayel, maybe Tyson Fury, maybe Joshua again. He could really take over in this era, and we're going to have him against Mo Zatauma in 2027, and that is going to be a blunderbuss.
While some experts focused on tactics, pressure, and early round danger, others saw Usyk's value through a wider lens, what it means to be great across divisions. Terence Crawford didn't give a traditional fight prediction, but his comments spoke volumes. When asked about Usyk being ranked above him on pound-for-pound lists, Crawford didn't argue. Instead, he acknowledged Usyk's achievements with genuine respect. He highlighted something few fighters can claim, moving up in weight and continuing to dominate at the highest level. For Crawford, that was the essence of being pound-for-pound elite. He made it clear that fighters like Tyson Fury, who stay in one weight class, don't carry the same kind of legacy. But Usyk, having climbed divisions and still performed at the top, earned that recognition. In Crawford's view, Usyk wasn't just a good heavyweight, he was one of the best in the sport, period. And that kind of praise, especially from a fellow elite like Crawford, said more than any bold prediction could. When it came to Frank Warren, he had stressed that this was not the same Daniel Dubois who fought in Poland back in 2023. In his eyes, Dubois had evolved, no longer just Daniel the boy, but now Daniel the man. Warren felt Dubois was hitting his prime, fueled by confidence and momentum from high-level wins, including his stoppage of Jarrell Miller. For Warren, these victories didn't just pad the win column, they built the belief that Dubois could hang with the best. Warren also pointed to Dubois' mental transformation. He admitted the first fight had distractions, especially the drama surrounding the referee and that controversial body shot, but claimed Dubois had matured since then. He believed the pain of that loss had turned into fuel, making Dubois more focused and more dangerous than ever. That's why, according to Warren, they specifically chose a test like Jarrell Miller, a relentless, heavy-handed fighter who would push Dubois deep into the fight. And Dubois delivered, stopping Miller in the final round. To Warren, that performance was proof. Dubois could now go the distance and stay sharp under fire. But perhaps the boldest part of Warren's view came when he hinted that Usyk's reign could be at risk. While the world speculated about Tyson Fury or Anthony Joshua being next for Usyk, Warren wasn't convinced Usyk would still be champion after facing Dubois again. He believed Dubois' power, timing, and improved mindset could be the perfect mix for an upset. And if that happened, it could send shockwaves through the heavyweight division. Now that the fight's done, what did you think? Were the predictions on point? Let us know who you had winning and how you saw it going down in the comments below.